Hello everyone, odedex here, welcome to episode 117 of a simple Let's Play. So off screen, I've kept breeding my exotic bee and I finally extracted the exotic species serum. You can see I'm already starting to inoculating into some of my rocky princesses. I already got this one and I already got the one that I was breeding from. Should be somewhere around here. So it will be now the next step and probably the final step towards actually it's not the last step, there is two more steps. Okay, so first where is my exotic princess? I remember for a fact having it somewhere, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to need to combine it with a tropical princess to get the Edenic bee, or Edenic bee, don't know how you pronounce that. So first let's see, can I breed it right about here? Will it work? Tropical and exotic. It's gonna have some, it's probably gonna require a warm area and humid. So as it is right now, there we go. Warm and damp, so it should be fine. And I'm also gonna throw in some uranium, which I took out because I didn't need it here for the specific time. I'm barely using any uranium because I'm not using it anymore basically. Okay, so I'm gonna have one of those here, and just to speed up the process, I'm also gonna try. Let me get 3 of those frames. Place one of those sets, one of those bee sets in my tropical bee area right about here. I think some of those there we go. Some of those at least one. Okay, 2 of those are actually empty, so let's see if that will work out. Let's give it some time. That's pretty much 2 steps before getting the actual bee that I'm looking for. So hopefully that will be successful. Okay, so right at the ending of my previous episode, I started building this self-resupply system, resupplying glass into my system, up to 6040, obviously a little bit more when it does some things. But I want to do some changes. So the first change I'd like to make is, instead of my recipe creating 1 for 1 in terms of glass, and also in terms of smooth stone, I'd like to change that to 8 for 8. So let's actually do some testing. I don't know, can you use an already existing pattern or those encoded things? Let's see. First I'm going to need some stone and some smooth stone, and I'm going to need some sand. This is the wrong sand. Some sand and some glass. Let's see, can I encode an already existing pattern? Will it work? So add 8 to 8. Yep, it works, I guess. So that's pretty nice. You don't have to destroy it or something and get more, so that's pretty good. So that's the first step. The second step is also start integrating more of those kind of systems into my already existing plan logistics network. So first, let's take this away from here. I don't want it to be showing like this right in the middle of the room. Can probably do this right about here. So actually, let's get a bunch more interfaces, emitters, and export buses. So I'm gonna need 2 interfaces, 2 emitters. Let's go for 1 more set, or basically 2 more sets. So 1 more export bus. There we go. And let's see. First, of course, I'm gonna add the glass again. So let's connect it something like that makes sense. They should be fine. Also gonna need some normal cable. Cable. More than 1, please. Okay, that's good enough. So let's set it up like this and like this. So this one will be, again, this will be glass. So I'm gonna need an export. I'm gonna need a level emitter. This will emit a redstone signal unless there are more than 640 glass, and if that's the case, it's gonna active with signal, it's gonna export glass with crafting only. So now I should start seeing my glass supply going up, and since it's at 8 at a time instead of 1 at a time, the resupplying process should be relatively faster. Alright, so let's also add smooth stone. I always like having some smooth stone available. So can actually build up instead of sideways, so that will be nicer. So this, and this. Okay, so this will check for smooth stone. It will check for 640 at my network, and it will emit when the levels are below. And if it has a redstone signal, it will craft smooth stone. Now actually it's interesting, I want to see how does my thing here actually works. Like, when it has to do 2 things at a time, let's take some glass out. How does it look like? It pushes sand, and then cobblestone, and then sand, and cobblestone. Nice, so it does both of them kind of simultaneously at the same time. So this is pretty good. Alright, let's see, what else do I like having always something of, like always have a reasonable amount of. Well, I guess that's pretty much it for now. I am going to need some other things probably, but for the time being it should look relatively fine. Okay. Okay, so since lately I've been using a lot of stone bees to inoculate all kind of species into them, I've changed this filter right here, which disposes of stone bees, to only take drones. So only drones are currently being smelted, but the problem is that I'm not inserting any stone princesses back into my already existing network. So in order to fix that, I'm gonna quickly make another white chest. So I have another access point to that network, that mining network, and it's gonna be a very simple solution. I'm just gonna need filter, a timer, and okay, let's see. I'm gonna need filter. I'm gonna need a timer, and I'm gonna need an obsidian pipe, and that's pretty much it. It's an extremely simple solution. I just want to start storing the princesses again because I'm using them quite a lot. So right into this intersection, I'm gonna have the filter looking like this. Yep. And it will be filtering out of here. It will be taking out rocky princesses only, and it will be operating on a timer. Just like, whoops. Just like, come on, this. There we go. So very simply placing the stony bees back into my system. Okay, so project that I started a couple of episodes ago, I wanted to automate the crafting of nether stars because I plan to start using them for something. And the only thing that I was missing is basically glowstone. But now that I have glowstone incorporated into my applied logistics system, using basically demonic bees to craft them, it's not a very fast rate, but it is happening slowly over time. So I am getting some glowstone over time. I think I can now incorporate crafting of nether stars as well. The only thing that I'm not doing yet is actually moving all the Wither Skeleton Farm products into my overworld. So let's start doing that. So I'm actually going to use, let's do something like this. I'm going to use another white chest. So actually, you know what, let's just recolor an existing chest, what this chest is doing. This is my track chest, I don't have any use for it. Let's just take 1 bone meal and recolor it, actually 2 more bone meals, because that was grey, not white. Just like this. So this is another white chest access point. I can quickly get rid of all of those things. Let's see. I'm going to need some tubes probably. Let's actually do this one step at a time. I don't want to change everything all of a sudden and then have some issues. I'm probably gonna need, yeah, I'm gonna need the filter. And let's, I already got some tubes, that's fine. I'm gonna need the filter. Okay. And I'm gonna need to have a small test. Let's see. I want to filter out this Weather Skeleton's farm produces coal, bones, and skulls. Now, all of those three products are useful for me, at least to some extent, but it also produces all of those stones. So I want to check whether or not the durability value on the stones make any difference on the stone swords. So let's see if I do something, let's say, okay, let's have it facing like this, doesn't need to be rotated. Let's say, let's put one of those randomly picked swords. This one has 106 damage value for that example. If I change that direction and try to place any type of sword with many different durability counts, what will happen? Okay, so good. All of them are being filtered. It ignores the fact that some of them has this kind of durability, some of them have different kinds of durability, so that's perfect. That's what I need. So basically, let's do it very easily. Let's change. Let's do the following change. So this goes away, this goes away, this also goes away. Let's have an obsidian pipe right here, a void pipe right here. So right now, all my stone swords are gonna be voided. I don't need them anymore. Let's get rid of everything that I'm holding as well. It's being voided, right? There is no problem. Yep, there we go. And replace this chest with this chest. Again, let's get rid of everything here. Also, I'm gonna quickly add each one of those items back into my sorting machine, so it knows to pull them back into the network, so it doesn't clog my system here. How did those stone swords get here? Anyway, okay, let's add a wither skull, a wither skeleton skull, bones. Let's go for full stack at a time, and coal is already a part of the system, so there is no problem. So bones will only be extracted a stack at a time, because bones are pretty much, they have very high production rate from that farm, and for the same reason that I'm only pulling stacks of a time of those products, because the sorting machine can only do one process, I think, every tick. If it will try to pull cobblestone at one at a time at minimum, which simply it will be stuck only on cobblestone. So this is the reason why it's just like that. Let's quickly make my way back there, just get over the night. What's going on? Yeah, I'm getting those bugs quite often lately, that things that should be visualized are not being visualized, and that's the way it looks. Like probably my... Okay, this is working. Okay, sometimes this gets broken as well. Okay, so also just added the full durability sword that I had. I guess maybe the filter looks for a difference between a non-durability sword and a durability sword. And if it has durability, it doesn't mind it. Like, everything is the same. Okay, so the next step will be to basically get rid of those barrels. So let's get rid of them one at a time. I could use the extraction buses, the import buses, but setting up a system here just for something so temporarily is kind of silly. So I'm going to avoid doing that. So this will be good enough of a way to move everything. And just break the barrel. Okay, I'm gonna do this for the coal and bones as well. Okay, so there we go. So everything, all the coal, bones, and skeleton skulls will be making their way to this white chests. And that chest is obviously being sorted back into my system right over here. Now, right over here, I'm gonna start having a very large amount of bones. Although, 64 by 64 stacks is not that bad. I can let it build up for now, but eventually I may want to consider getting rid of all those bones like I did right there with everything else. But for the time being, I'm just gonna keep them there. There is no problem with that. And I can also integrate all my already existing bones into my network as well to save some space in those chests. You can clearly see that slowly over time I'm moving things over. Like, doing this one step at a time. I don't want to overload everything. If I suddenly get run out of space, it's not that great. So, yeah. Okay, so I got wither skeleton skulls here. I've got glowstone, and pretty much the only thing remaining to do is actually set up the recipe for the skulls. Not for the skulls, for the nether stars, which is what I like to do. So first, let's actually set up the last auto resupplying system that I wanted to. So let's set up the ME interface. I'm gonna need some cables, the level emitter, and the export bus. And I'm going to set it up for basically the nether stars. Now at the moment it won't be able to do anything because it cannot do anything, but the moment it will be working it will start doing its job. Since it's going to be using diamonds and glowstone and all those kind of good things, I'm going to be only resupplying myself, I think, with like, let's say 16, so basically 8 twice, just a nice number. So this level emitter will emit redstone signal if I have less than 16 nether stars. If I have redstone signal here, create nether stars. And obviously at the moment it has nothing it can do because I cannot create nether stars. So it does nothing at the moment. But the moment I integrate the recipe it will start working. Okay, so you know what, actually... Okay, let's turn it off for the time being. I'm gonna do it later. I don't want the system to try doing things that it cannot, well, I don't know, keep asking to do it. Okay, so let's add the recipe to actually create nether stars. So it's gonna require diamonds, wither skeleton skulls, an existing nether star, and the Tome of Alkahest. Now, Tome of Alkahest is one item that's gonna be permanently there. Wither skeleton skulls are being taken care of, they're a basic product. Nether stars are the same product basically, but that's kind of the idea here. And diamonds are also a basic product. So the only thing I don't have yet are glowing water, which requires glowstone, and condensed splash serum, which that requires gunpowder, nether warts, glowstone dust, and this. And basically this is simply some glass panes set up in some way and then created into this vial. Okay, so first let's get some glass and start adding recipes to what I don't have yet. So let's get some blank patterns. Okay, so first let's add a recipe to create glass panes. I'm gonna need those. So add that recipe. Let's actually create some glass panes. And then let's add a recipe to create those vials, those empty vials. So 5 of those creates 5 of those. Create the blank pattern. And let's fill up one of those and actually add the recipe for filling right over here. So just like buckets, you just right click and you get that. It actually even doesn't consume the water source block, so you can use it on any water block without consuming it. So that's a nice thing, but it's not a necessary thing. So there is no problem there. So let's create that custom recipe. Again, using a black pattern. Done. And add that to my ME interface right over here. And now that I have the actual vial of ordinary water, what can I do with it is turn that into this thing, the condensed splash serum, which requires nether warts, glowstone, and gunpowder. Now gunpowder, I don't think I have a recipe for. Actually, do I even have gunpowder? That's actually interesting. I did not take that into consideration. I have a nice amount of gunpowder right over here, but I don't think I'm producing it yet. I could produce it with this recipe: charcoal dust, sulfur, saltpeter. What saltpeter ore? Never encountered that. Okay. I could use this recipe, but I don't really like using those recipes. I could use this recipe, I guess. Niter. Okay, I'm going to take care of that in a later stage. At the moment, I'm going to simply treat my system as something that has access to gunpowder without any problem. So let's actually get some. So gunpowder and nether warts and glowstone. Okay, so let's set up the recipe. So it looks like this, 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 and this. Gives me the condensed splash serum. So place that in here, and when I have one of those, let's actually create one. Combining this with 3 glowstone, just like this, gives me the one of the products for the nether star, which is the glowing water. So let's create that recipe as well. And now just create one of those, and I can finally create the recipe for the nether star. So 3 of those. Actually, I should have some diamonds on me, and also some skeleton skulls. So a diamond, an existing nether star, the Tome of Alchemist, 3 of those skulls and 3 of those things give me the recipe to basically duplicate another star. So encode that, add that here. I'm gonna need a Tome of Alchemistry in here, some nether stars to begin with, all of those good stuff. And I can pretty much now set up the system the way I wanted to begin with. I just placed something I didn't want to place there. The sword. Ooh, the stats, the slots are glowing. I don't know if that's intended, but that's nice. Okay. Okay, so let's actually now add the recipe that I wanted to. So using the export bus and another star, another star. Thank you. Simply add that right about here. It's gonna be crafting only on redstone signal nether stars. And I should now be able to see the nether star count going up. You can probably see it here. Yeah, I can see it right about here. So the only thing really keeping it back from working properly is pretty much just my why is it not working? Oh, I have a feeling I know why. This import bus is filtered to only take out full cans of water. Yeah, so it also should be filtered to only take out full vials of water as well. Just the same plain idea. So let's add that fact. So it can... The idea is basically so it will not take out empty vials or empty cans. So this is pretty much the thing. Okay, now you can see it being created. Can I actually keep a nice track? Yeah, there we go. So my nether star count is now going upwards. So everything is automated. Now actually the fact that I don't have an automatic way... How did he get in here? How the hell did he get in here? Oh, I guess this place is slightly unlit. This might have just been a creeper. This is dangerous. How did he get in here? I guess I just kept this slight area a little bit unlit, so it was dangerous. Whew, that might have been a creeper. Okay, so now taking care of gunpowder, looking at the possible recipes. There is this duplication recipe, which I really don't like. There is a difference between investing... For example, in the creation of the nether star, the difference in the recipe is that for me, killing the wither is extremely easy. You just a little bit of a time consuming, and actually duplicating the nether star, you basically, instead of just the 3 skeleton skulls that you're gonna need to summon the wither, you actually invest also this diamond and all of those, which are a bunch of glowstone and redstone and nether warts and I don't know. So this is why I think this one is balanced, but actually the process of creating gunpowder using the Tome of Alchemist is something that I'm gonna try and not do, because I think it's kind of unbalanced. I don't really like doing those kind of things. However, there is this recipe which I really like. Using sulfur, this thing called niter, and charcoal, which all of those can be crafted. Actually, charcoal I think I'm even already creating, actually. Yeah, as a part of my creosote oil production system, actually creating charcoal as well, so that's pretty good. The only thing that I don't have yet easy access to is sulfur. However, there is this recipe which I really like. This recipe lets you, if you pulverize a blaze rod, you get 4 blaze powder, just as you would macerate it. I think maceration gives you also 4. Let's see. Pulverizer, actually, okay, macerate gives you 5, so I guess that's kind of a balanced thing. Pulverizer gives you 4, but a chance to get sulfur. And you can get sulfur by multiple ways. You can get it using netherrack. I could use netherrack, but at the moment I'm not going to. I'm going to actually use blaze rods. However, I could use blaze rods right off the bat, but I'd like to use them as a part of my plant logistics system. So let's finally also integrate my blaze rod system into my plant logistics. Now it's gonna have 2 steps. The first step is actually obviously integrating it, and the second step, before actually starting to take care of the gunpowder, will be to make sure that everything is still connected right here. So I'm gonna need some export pipes or export buses. I'm gonna need a lot of cables, and I'm gonna need to figure out a way on how to actually connect it in a nice way. Actually, I already have my other integration room right here. It's actually maybe a lot more convenient than I may think it will be. Let's see if I can take care of that right now. I'm going to need some ME cables and an interface basically. So let's get those, and let's just craft 10 interfaces. Okay, so let's just get 2 for the time being. I'm gonna probably go into some tubes. Okay, and my production system. Okay, I don't want to disconnect it before I have everything set up here as well. So let's do that. Or actually, you know what? Let's have a better idea. Let's just temporarily do what I did previously, which is connect 1 HV solar, so it will produce power instead of those geothermals. Not geothermal, those normal generators, just temporarily, so it can have a replacement. Even though, again, it is something that's completely temporary. I could, of course, fuel everything with the high voltages, but I don't really want to. If I'm already killing blazes, I already have the blaze farm set up, there is no reason not to use it. And I think it's something that I really like having. It's a nice thing to have. This kind of a different solution. Okay, so have this connected like this, and have this in here. So temporarily, when those generators will be disconnected, I'm gonna have a replacement for power generation, so I can, at the moment, break everything. Okay, so I cleared all the tubing network. This will be powered by this solar array for the time being. It should be doing a pretty good job. You actually just saw that even the normal generators are still having some issues keeping up. I think maybe when I'll connect everything together using the export buses, it probably will be a smarter way to go. We'll see about that. Okay, so let's get over to this room, the one that I have right here. Let's see how can I interface it together. So this is actually already being, this is a lot easier. Okay, this is funny because done, it's integrated. Okay, nice. This was a lot simpler than I thought it's going to be. Good thing I left everything exposed like I did. Can just get rid of all those tubes to save some space and tubes basically, and everything should be done. However, I will need to replace basically all those tubes with the actual applied logistics integration. So replace everything with buses, and yeah. Okay. One more. And done. Let's actually just collect all of those tubes. Okay, now since it's connected like this, we can do a couple more changes. First, there will be no longer any bounce back because everything is going to be directly stored into the system. So you can see all the blaze rod are already here. There is no problem with this whatsoever. So I can get rid of the regulator that I had here. It's no longer necessary pretty much. So this can go away. Just no longer necessary. And a couple more changes is also actually disconnect the blaze rod system that I had here. To fuel this, it's no longer necessary as well, so we can remove this as well. This can still be connected. Basically, okay, let's just remove everything. Why can't I break them? Okay, there we go. And this can still be connected because it's connected to those geothermals, but overall this can go away as well. Okay, so now directly from my blaze rod collection system, it all goes up there and eventually gets collected back into my applied logistics network. So the next step will be to basically connect all generators to the same network that will be supplying it again with all the necessary blaze rods. But that step is pretty much taken care of. The only real last thing remaining to do is to basically integrate this barrel back into my system. I think I'm going to do it very simply. Let's quickly get an import bus. And I'm going to need to get my gravity gun. And okay, let's just break some blocks temporarily so it can go up here. So this goes away, this also goes away. You can seal up this hole eventually. Okay. And it needs to be on something, so let's temporarily place it here. Let's have this set up to always active, stack at a time, and just place the barrel on it. There we go. That will start extracting all the blaze rods, and there we have it. So, yeah, I created the system to create nether stars automatically and keep myself restocked with at least 16 or more. Usually, I think it's going to be about 17 or 18 actually. Let's have a look. Yeah, 18. So 16 is, again, usually it will be slightly more, but yeah. And also started integrating blaze rods into my system. In the next episode, I'm gonna get to actually finishing up integrating the blaze rods feeding system into my generators and also producing gunpowder. So as always, thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.